I did not expect to take an entire week before doing this again. That kinda just happened. But now that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is done, I'll be doing this more often, more frequently, I promise that. Count on that. Okay. So it has been a week since I last hunted here. Just gonna jump right in. Let's just get started. Let me just... I don't know how loud this is. Maybe that's a bit loud. Let me turn that down a little bit. I'm also gonna, hold on, turn this down too, turn down that brightness, there we go. Make sure this is aligned. Make sure this looks straight. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more just in case. Alright, so we have a lot to talk about today. But first, there are a couple of light topics I want to talk about. A couple of small things. First of all, today, Nintendo announced a freaking alarm clock. Alarmo, I think it's the name. And I saw a tweet by Austin John Plays, which was just so hilarious. Who at Nintendo thought it was a good idea to wake up to the sound of gunfire? Yeah, that sums it up pretty well when it comes to the Splatoon sounds for the alarm. I'm not gonna buy no damn Nintendo alarm clock. You know, I've mentioned this before. I'm not that big of a fan of Nintendo where I'll buy everything they put out. You know? When it comes to Nintendo, I really only care about Mario, Zelda, Smash, technically, but that's, like, separate, in a way. Like, in terms of, like, the very first, the first of the first IPs, first-party IPs, it'd be Mario and Zelda. You know, kind of like a second party, you know, would be Pokemon and Kirby, right? Yeah, aside from that, there's not really much else from Nintendo I really care about. I'm sorry to all the Pikmin and Metroid fans out there. Sorry to all the Animal Crossing fans out there. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, like, low-key, if there was some sort of amiibo functionality with this freaking alarm clock, I would have bought it. I would have. Only if there was amiibo functionality. It's like, how do I scan my freaking alarm clock? What's that gonna do in a game? But, you know, it's like, well, what's a Mario cereal box gonna do in the game, right? Realistically, that didn't really do anything in the game. That was more of a collectible. Which I do have. I have several years old, probably moldy cereal in my bedroom. That thing's gonna, you know, shoot out spores and cause a plague. Okay, so aside from that, I want to mention what I've noticed regarding the AI President's content community. Now, you guys know that I love watching AI President's content because it is the funniest thing in the entire world to me. I love watching them. Man, but sadly I've noticed a sort of decline in the content, and it's obviously because of the election that's coming soon. Where, you know, certain services like 11 Labs are blocking the use of certain voices. You know, a lot of the AI presidents content creators I used to watch just don't upload anymore. Or at least they can no longer upload because of no longer being able to use the voices. Ones that come to mind that no longer upload are like President's Playdate. There's also POTUS Play. I haven't seen any GTA 5 videos from that individual in quite some time. Recently, Frail got hit, so moving forward, seems like Frail will no longer be able to produce AI President's tier list. You know, us Joe Dogs are sad and crying. How else are we gonna hear about Joe's, like, unhinged rants and, you know, talk about him going off about blue Gatorade dogs? You know, other ones that don't post anymore, like AI Voice Verse. You know, there are a couple of channels I watch that still do President's AI content. It's just a lot slower, because, you know, art takes time. So a couple ones that I do watch, even though they upload a little slower, you know, but that's okay. They take their time to perfect their craft. I watch ones like Game Producer 6, Broadway CJ97, Pokemon Presidents, Presidents Play Horror Games. Oh yeah, one channel that doesn't upload anymore, and is the reason why I wanted to talk about this, is Presidential Discord server. Now, I'm not the only one who's seen that. Whoever is behind that channel just, you know, went insane, deleted all their videos, and is now uploading religious stuff. Dang, that was a good channel too. The content was really good too. Another President's AI channel that no longer uploads, which I'm pretty sad, is Broke Presidents. You know, it does really seem like the downfall, the decline of this sort of content. I'm really hoping that after the election, then the voices will no longer be blocked and we can use their voices again. And you know what? Speaking of the president, or a president, just before starting this, I heard that Trump was saying about Elon Musk, saying that, like, if Trump wins this election and by the end of his second term, he and Elon, I almost called him Eli, he and Elon are gonna, like, partner up or whatever, and they're gonna, you know, reach Mars. By the end of Donald Trump's second term, he and Elon Musk plan to reach Mars by then. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to very much doubt on that. You know? After all this time, I still haven't seen a wall be built up. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna reach Mars anytime soon, buddy. I don't think we're gonna reach Mars in my lifetime, let's be honest. But hey, a man can dream. Okay, I have a cue to get up and turn off the lights in my house in just a moment. So once these eggs begin to hatch, I will go and do that. I already washed the dishes tonight, so I got nothing else to do after this. My sister's not at home. She went to her husband's place to stay the night. You know, next week, my sister is going to take a honeymoon trip to Lumio City itself, Paris, France. And she's taking these 2 days off. It's like, wow, how luxurious of you. Go on a trip to France next week. And, you know, 2 days off of work this week. Wow, must be nice. Alright, I'll be right back. Nope, it's not time yet. Not time to turn the lights off just yet. Oh, yeah, that's right. So, I have been hunting for Lunala in Dynamax Adventures, and I am so over odds for it right now. I am beyond odds for it. Obviously, I have the Shiny Charm. Let's see, I had like 900, over 900 ores, and then I found a decent solo path to keep on resetting. Now, yes, Lunala is easy enough to just do random paths on. But for Lunala, I just don't really want to think about it. I don't really want to use brain power to think about the path. So I see a decent path, well, I'll reset it until I get some sort of shiny, some sort of phase. So for the first path, I spent like 300 ores before I got a shiny Bulldor. And then for majority of today, and even most of yesterday, I found a really good, not really good, but like, you know, doable path. Yes, I lost to it a couple times to Lunala of all things, but it's okay. So yeah, I've been doing the same path for basically the past 2 days with no phases. So today I spent the entire day doing it. I went from like over 900 ores once again down to like less than 250 ores. So I spent a long time doing the solo path for Lunala. And all I got to show for it was a shiny Cherrim. I got a shiny Cherrim today. So there goes my solo path. And then the next Dynamax adventure right after, I got a shiny Togedemaru. So I phased on Lunala back to back. I swear this is the longest I have ever hunted Lunala for. I have never hunted Lunala this long before. The past 2 times I hunted for it, it was relatively quick. The very first time I hunted for Lunala in Dynamax Adventures, it showed up in less than a day. I got shiny Solgaleo. The next day, shiny Lunala. So the first time I hunted for Lunala was very quick. Second time, you know, a couple days. But now, I am beyond over odds for this thing. Whenever I get the shiny Lunala, I'm going to take a break from Dynamax Adventures and I'm going to go back to do a couple of Scarlet and Violet hunts. Okay, once these eggs hatch, then I will actually go and turn off the lights. I was a little too early there. And once I get back, we'll start talking about a lot of stuff we have to talk about today. A lot. I am just patiently waiting for these next eggs to start hatching so I can get up and turn off the lights and come back and talk about all the stuff to talk about today. So I finally started using Hinge, or rather I finally started, well, There's no way to sugarcoat this. So I was stuck on the 6th and final photo for like over a month. Listen, I just don't have lots of good pictures of myself, okay? And I generally just don't like taking pictures of myself because I don't look good in pictures. So I kept on putting it off. So I finally just said, I'm tired of putting it off. I just took a really random selfie and I just said, there's your 6th photo, moving on. It turns out, right afterwards, there was like a couple of questionnaire things for you to fill out about yourself for the people to see, and damn was I stumped on those. You had things to fill out about yourself like, a red flag for me is, insert your answer. You and I will hit it off if, fill in your answer. Stuff like that. And I thought really, really hard, how do I put some sort of answer to these without sounding like, me? Because I don't think it's a stretch to say that a bunch of ladies out there probably aren't interested in a very depressed sounding guy. Like, I don't think that's a stretch to say. So there was stuff like, change the way how I feel about. How do I answer change the way I feel about myself without sounding just sad, right? Or rather, like, something you could answer is, what I look for in someone is... So obviously I put in someone who's smart and competent, but I left out the part, like, because I am neither of those in life. But, just having the message, like, what I'm looking for in someone is smarts and competence. Well, that doesn't sound that great now, does it? That doesn't sound that appealing. There was also one that was like, what I'm into. So I mentioned I'm into stuff like Marvel, DC, Walking Dead, video games like Pokemon, Persona, Mario, Zelda, anime. And I'm just thinking, man, I'm never gonna get matches with this. What I'm into, and then I list out all the nerdiest shit out there. Alright, I'll be right back. Let me turn off those lights real quick. Alright, let's start talking about all that stuff. I left the door open now, by the way. That is the sound of my dog coughing. He's old now, so he has old dog coughs. I don't know how well you could actually hear that. Anyways, so we have a lot to talk about today. Today I have 5, count them, 5 TV shows to talk about. First up, I have Daryl Dixon, Season 2, Episode 2. Then I have Agatha All Along, episode, I think it's 4? Yeah, episode 4. Then it is Penguin, episode 3. And then I have Superman and Lois, season 4. And then a final one that I'm going to hold off on telling you what it is. Alright, so let's start. Daryl Dixon, Season 2, Episode 2, The Book of Carol. Okay, let's see. The way this episode starts, or the way this episode goes... I feel like this episode was a little bit better than the first one, though there are obviously issues. So, we start off with Laurent narrating about how he hopes that the nest is going to be a home for him and, you know, all his loved ones. So then we see, you know, stuff like this lady at the nest prepare Laurent like a Danish kind of dish for him to eat. And then, you know, Laurent's studying, blah, blah, blah. Daryl comes back. Obviously, the nest, or more so Losang, thinks Daryl might be a problem because, you know, he might get in the way of Losang, quote-unquote, reaching his potential. And then, you know, we also get Carol's storyline. She and Ash lands in Greenland, where they encounter 2 survivors. I don't know if this was shot in France or not, or if it was genuinely Greenland. I highly doubt it. I doubt they flew all the way to Greenland just to shoot, like, one part of an episode, then fly back to France. Again, I think it's pretty hilarious to mention, or to propose that a filming location in, let's say, France, they just dub it Greenland, and bam, it's Greenland. Even though in real life, a place like that in Greenland doesn't exist. You know? It's like with episode 1. Ash's farm, that was shot in France, right? But it looks a lot like America. So all they have to do is say that this location takes place in America, even though in real life, a place like that just doesn't exist in America, but it does in France. So yeah, if the mountains they shot at, or even, I don't know if it was mountains or not, maybe it was just a big open field and the mountains were all CGI. So regardless of where they shot the Greenland scenes, I highly doubt it was actually at Greenland. So it's pretty funny to me that a place like that actually doesn't exist. Unless it does, and they just, you know, didn't shoot there, but they just made it look like the real-life place. I don't know. Someone let me know. So yeah, Carol and Ash land in Greenland just because there's like a fuel leak for the plane. Thank God they weren't over the ocean when they discovered the fuel leak, you know? They actually were above land before they had to, you know, land. So then we see a bunch of walkers. Carol tries to take out 3, but then there are walkers that sprung out from the ground, you know, typical zombie style. And then they get saved by 2 ladies who have been surviving there for like 15 years or however long the apocalypse has been. So yeah, they really gave off this kind of unsettling vibe, like something's really off with them. And you could tell. So eventually, the 2 women separate Carol and Ash. Carol stays in, you know, their little, like, their shelter with one of them. Ash goes back to the plane with the other lady. Now, their plan was to kill Carol and take Ash for themselves. That way Ash can have kids with them and start repopulating. My question is, like, this was planned ahead of time. They didn't know if they didn't know a plane would land there at all. They had no prior knowledge to that, right? So they had to have discussed that beforehand. Did the 2 just discuss, like, okay, if we ever encounter a man, we have to we have to convince him to stay with us and have kids with us. But what if the man that stumbles upon us one day has a woman with him, or a family? We'll kill the woman, we'll kill the family, and then he'll be ours. Like, they had to have planned that beforehand, right? So is that how the discussion went? If a man ever showed up, we convince him, and if he has anyone with them, we kill them. right? It's like, is that how the conversation went beforehand? And they were just waiting, like, day after day. Will a man ever show up? Anyway, so yeah. For some reason, for some weird and stupid reason, when Carol and that other lady were sitting across from each other at the table, she's just like, ooh, nice crossbow. May I? May I load an arrow into it? It's like, please, go ahead. You know, not wanting to say no and be rude. But then she just lets her? Like, obviously, she's about to point that at you and potentially kill you with it. Like, loading a crossbow isn't the quickest thing, but it's also not the slowest thing, right? Like, it's not fast to load a crossbow. So, when she was loading it, Carol easily could have just jumped up and, you know, attacked before it was fully loaded. So, it kind of makes me question, like, why did Carol let her do that, right? Obviously, we know Carol has plot armor, but in-universe, she doesn't. In-universe, she could have died there. Anyway, so, yeah, Carol lets her do that. The other lady shows up, it's like, why haven't you killed her yet? For some reason, she kills her instead. This person you spent, like, 15 years with surviving, you kill her instead of the random stranger that you just met? Sure, like, it seems like you didn't like what your friend was, you know, planning to do. But, like, damn. 15 years and you just killed her for a stranger. Carol, you know, talked her way out of not being killed. She's like, you can come with us. You can leave your psychotic friend and you can come with us. Start a new life. So she killed her friend. It's like, will you still let me come with you? Carol at this point has to, like, yes. Yes, you can come with us. So Carol and this lady are heading back to the plane to where Ash is. And Ash fires a flare gun at her and kills her. When Carol and Ash left the plane, they put a lot of emphasis to show that there was a flare gun in the plane. At first, I didn't know why. But then, you know, after he shot it at her, it's like, oh, I understand now. And you know what? That's a little bit of clever writing. I like the way they wrote that. Where Carol promised this lady, like, you can come with us. But the other lady told Ash, like, she's going to kill your friend. And then you're going to have kids with us. So Ash, not knowing that the other lady died, he's under the impression that that woman was going to kill Carol. So he fired this flare gun at her, killing her. And Carol doesn't tell him the truth, like, she was okay, she was friendly, she was about to come with us. Instead, she lies to Ash again, but this time in a good way, to comfort him, like, I had to do it, I had to kill her. Yeah, you did. You had no other choice. So then, the two of them just leave. I mean, it's like, well, these two strangers tried to kill us, and, well, now they're dead, we're leaving. Oh, too bad for them. So that was mostly Carol's story. In terms of Daryl, though, Daryl, like, everyone at the nest believes Laurent was taken, because there's a grappling hook at his room window, and then there were, like, someone climbed in and took him, someone with a tattoo on their face. It's like, damn, I was too weak to stop him. So, a search party goes out to find Laurent. Daryl, Isabel, Falou, and the guy whose name I forgot last time, Emile, they all went. Emile seems pretty broken about something, we don't find out just yet. So everyone at the nest believes Laurent is missing, so our main characters go out to find him. They show up at this building where they believe Laurent is at, but actually, wait, before that, they stopped at the road, and Daryl was like, I can track 2 people walk down this way. I saw some complaining about, like, why in the previous episode did Daryl not track an injured Madame Genet? You know, he turned around because of an explosion. He turns back and she's gone. Daryl couldn't just run after her to see where she went. Like, she's injured. She couldn't have gotten too far. You could have tracked her with, like, you know, a bleeding trail or whatever. You didn't track her in the first episode, but then the second episode, you suddenly remember you can track. I saw some people complain about that. It's just, you know, convenient writing. Okay, so they're in this building, and the people from the nest that joined them actually betray them and try to kill them. They try to kill Daryl, Isabel, Falou. Not Emil. Emil is part of it. Wow, this song's already been playing for half an hour. I'm actually gonna go shut that door, or at least close it a little bit more. Whoops, I'll fix that in a moment. I like the song, okay? So, Emil was actually a traitor because he believes in what the nest is saying. Believes that Laurent will be, you know, the cure, the savior of humanity. And then he reveals the nest plan of what to do with Laurent. They want to prove that Laurent really is immune. How? By having him be bit by a walker to prove he won't turn. Sounds like a stupid ass plan. But hey, these guys are so brainwashed, I guess they'll believe it. So after he reveals that, you know, Isabel kills him. Poor Sylvie. And you know, speaking of Sylvie, so we also get this other plot line where Sylvie notices a lady cooking the same dish for Laurent as he had previously. So she followed her to see where she's going, and she finds Laurent stored away elsewhere at the nest, and she's actually caught by Lo Sang. And then we don't know what happened to Sylvie. Now, in the trailer for episode 3 of season 2, there is a shot where if you zoom in, it really looks like a walker that's, you know, this nest is trying to have bite Laurent. It looks like that walker looks a lot like Sylvie, so they may have killed her just to have a walker to bite Laurent. Anyway, so our characters are rushing back to the nest, but because of the tide, the water's too high, so they can't actually physically reach the nest just yet. They need to wait for the tide to lower before they can walk to the nest. At that moment, Daryl and Isabel actually share a kiss. They actually kiss. I don't know, like, I'm happy that they're finally doing just any sort of romance with Daryl. Yes, they did it with Leah, and, you know, there were hints of it with Connie. And even sooner, you know, possibly hints with Beth. But none of those really played out, right? Season 1 of Daryl Dixon, there were hints that there was, you know, feelings between Daryl and Isabel. But you don't know with Daryl Dixon, right? Daryl Dixon has never been a character to really, like, fall in love that way. So it kind of caught me off guard, but also not really, when Daryl and Isabel finally kissed. Alright, so Carol and Ash finally arrive in France. You know, they were pretty lucky that they didn't really have many obstacles along the way. You know, it seems like weather was really good for them. All they had to do was make one quick pit stop in Greenland to repair. Like, you know, weather's fine. It seems like the ground is mostly empty for them to land on. It's not swarming with walkers. Like, wow, they lucked out. And also, very conveniently, once they arrived in France, Carol looks down and sees, is that maybe we can land there. Maybe that's an old racetrack. Wow, that's actually pretty convenient. Otherwise, I would have to find, like, a city street to land on. Or, I don't know, a beach. I don't know. So yeah, lucky them that they found such a convenient place to land the plane. So, they separate. Carol convinces Ash to stay back and watch the plane, which is smart. That's actually the smartest thing to do. If they both went into the city to look for, quote-unquote, Sophia, then, yes, they have a better chance of surviving, because, you know, they're together, but then the chance of something happening to the plane grows, like, infinitely. No plane means no trip back to America, right? So Carol managing to convince Ash to stay back and watch the plane was a smart move. That way she can just freely on her own look for Daryl without Ash questioning, like, okay, where's this daughter of yours? How can we find her with no information at all? So they separate. Carol said, if I'm not back in 2 weeks, go back without me. 2 weeks, wow. And then, you know, Ash is like, I'll start preparing fuel for our trip back. I assume he just knows how to make plane fuel? Okay. Anyways, so the thing I immediately thought about when Ash and Carol separated, what I thought was like, isn't this a really good opportunity for Carol to not, like lie her way back, right? Couldn't sometime later she comes back with Daryl be like, Ash, I found my daughter, but I found where Sophia was, but she died a long time ago. At least now I have closure knowing that she's, you know, gone. But hey, while I was out there, I ran into an old friend of mine. Can you believe that? This is Daryl. We were actually together at the beginning, but then somehow he ended up in France, and I just ran into him. Do you think he can come back to America with us? Like, couldn't Carol technically just do that? Just tell Ash she found Sophia, but she found her dead? But then she just miraculously ran into an old friend who just also happened to be in France, who also needs to go back to America? Couldn't Carol just do that? At this point, I thought the episode was over. When Carol left on her own to enter the city, I kind of thought that's where the episode ended, but no, this episode just kept on going. So Carol in the city, she sees a Pouvoir truck beating some guy up, and then, you know, the back of the truck is filled with food. Carol very smartly grabs an apple from the back of the truck. And then this is something else I saw people complain about. So this guy hears something happening at the back of the truck. He goes to the back to investigate, sees nothing, gets back in the truck and starts driving. But what happened was Carol made a hole in one of the bags so that seeds or whatever will pour out, leaving a trail for her to follow. Did the guy not see there was a hole in the bag with stuff pouring out? At first I kind of thought, okay, Carol from a distance used like a silencer on her gun to shoot the bag after he had checked. So the hole in the bag happened after he had checked and went back into the car. But that doesn't make sense. I'm not sure if Carol's gun had a silencer or not. And also, the sound alerting him to something happening in the back of the truck happened before he walked over to check. So he walked over and just didn't see a bag leaking stuff out. Okay. That's once again just convenient writing. I suppose he didn't pay attention or he didn't look down. But he doesn't need to look down. It would have been right in front of him. It would have been like damn near eye level to see something was pouring out of a bag. Whatever. So Carol follows a trail to see a bunch of Pouvoir people giving food to the survivors in France. And then it's like, this is what Madame Genet offers. Food, shelter, luxury, wine. All you have to do is show your support, as if this is an election, right? And then she's also like, we require volunteers. Carol, being ballsy, snoops around. She gets caught, and then she is volunteered for this. So then she gets taken to who knows where, along with a couple of other people. She meets this guy who, wow, very conveniently, was an English teacher in France. So she has someone to communicate with. Wow, that's convenient. Literally, the person sitting right next to her was an English teacher. That's convenient. I forget how exactly the episode ended, but that's mostly of what happened in the episode. So yeah, episode 2 of Daryl Dixon. The story's moving very fast just because there's only 6 episodes. Man, these shows need a lot more episodes than just 6, let me tell you. At least Dead City is moving in the right direction with season 2 having 8 episodes. So that's good. 6 just isn't enough. You know, I do think back, like, well, season 1 of Walking Dead was 6 episodes, but, you know, that was season 1. Season 1 for these shows having 6 episodes would make sense. Like Dead City. Dead City season 1 had 6. Season 2 will have 8. But not Daryl Dixon. Daryl Dixon season 2 will also have 6. 6 just isn't enough. You know, by the time we're watching episode 3, well, we're already halfway into the season. And you know what? I do also want to mention this as well. Excuse me. And another thing. I am aware that the entire season 2 of Daryl Dixon has leaked online. I am aware. I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to wait for the weekly release before watching the episodes. That's what I'm going to do. I did get one thing spoiled. I did see one thing spoiled for me. So, when the time comes, I will mention that. And I will mention that is what I got spoiled. Sadly, what I got spoiled was, like, pretty big. But what are you going to do, right? I got it spoiled. Well, it is what it is. I now know. Oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, I am aware that Season 2 in its entirety was leaked. I forget which streaming service it was. Maybe it was Amazon Prime. I'm actually not too sure. Someone accidentally uploaded the entire season by mistake. That person is probably fired. So yeah, one thing to praise about this show is the set design too. Or rather, like, the visuals. We see just how decayed the city of Paris is, and it is amazing how it looks. I'm sure a lot of the background details are VFX, you know, but a lot of, like, the scattered debris on the floor is, like, probably real-life props that they used. It looks great. Alright, so unless I'm forgetting something, that's all I really have that comes to mind to talk about Daryl Dixon Season 2, The Book of Carol, Episode 2. So now let's talk about Agatha, you know, Agatha Lang. What? Agatha All Along, Episode 4. I'm starting to remember what the characters' names are. Obviously, we have Agatha and Teen. You know, previously I didn't even remember what these characters' names were. We have Alice, we have Rio, Jennifer, or Jen, and I think Lilia? So, yeah. So this episode, once again, the aspect ratio changes. they enter this. They enter another building where once again the aspect ratio changes and their designs, their outfits change. Let me say, there was a lot, and I mean a lot, of cleavage in this episode. Woo boy! Lots of cleavage in this episode. Anyways. So, they enter this sort of like 70s record label, recording studio kind of place. You get a lot of like either 70s or 80s like disco vibes from it. So, what they have to do is they need to sing the witch's ballad in order to defeat a demon or some sort of curse that's been haunting Alice's family. Because Alice's mother, before she died, said that the women in their family was cursed. And, well, we see that's actually true, because there is some sort of, like, flying demon monster constantly after the family. So they need to sing the witch's ballad, specifically Alice's mother's version. It's also revealed that Alice's mother, like, that song is sort of like a protection spell on her daughter, because somewhere out there, someone is always playing the song, and as long as the song is playing, she's protected by that cursed demon thing. I mean, I guess that's sweet to think about, but wouldn't there be even just a moment out there where not a single person is playing it? I don't know, 8 billion of us on this planet, I suppose, yes, probably someone out there would always be playing it, I guess. So they sing the Witch's Ballad song. Once again, it didn't sound that bad, actually. Oh yeah, also they summoned Rio back because they needed a new green witch because Sharon died and she wasn't a witch to begin with. So, coincidentally, they summoned Rio, where, you know, Agatha has beef with her. Rio tries to turn... Rio tries to turn Agatha on the entire group, but then Agatha plays on the speaker for all of them to hear her. So they know Rio probably isn't trustworthy, despite how, you know, lovely she looks. So in the process, Teen actually gets... Whoops, my bad, didn't mean to hit that. In the process, Teen actually gets hurt. He gets, like, shattered glass impaled into his gut. So, the entire group is worried about him, but especially Agatha is worried about him. We've never seen Agatha be this, well, show this much emotion towards somebody, right? Like, she's genuinely worried if he's okay or not. And I like moments like that, where, you know, you think this really tough acting character doesn't have any emotions for anyone, but then in a moment like this, where that person is injured or whatever, they show who they really are. Like, deep down, they really, truly, deeply care. But then once Teen gets healed, she goes back to be, you know, bitchy and acts like, yeah, you're fine, get up, walk it off. Teen actually asked, did you put the sigil on me? Even Agatha doesn't know. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. By the end of the episode, Rio tells Agatha, that boy isn't yours. Now, a lot of people out there, especially new rock stars, has been theorizing that Teen is some way, somehow, a version of Agatha's sacrificed son. Somehow back, maybe possessing this teen's body, or is this person actually reincarnated? Who knows, right? That's still yet to be seen. I don't know, I'm kinda enjoying the show, but it's also, you know, kinda cheesy as well. I will say, though, I think I am indeed enjoying it more than Secret Invasion. Okay. Not really much else to talk about Agatha all along. Next up, let's talk about Penguin. So this is episode 3. I really like this episode. To me, this is the best episode so far. So at first, we open up with Victor, and I kind of thought this was present day, but then real quick, we learn it's not. So we see Victor meet with his girlfriend. I think it's Gabriella or Gabrielle, something like that. He meets up with her, and then, you know, it's like he's about to go to like a party with her. But first, he needs to drop off a package, which I wasn't the only one who at first thought like he's dropping off a package for Oz. But no, he goes home to where his family is. Normally, people would pick up at this moment that this is a flashback. Me, though, I still thought it was present day, and that his family just moved elsewhere. Like, Oz, like previously in the episodes, Oz thought like his family was gone because they were at that location when the flooding happened. And I thought because Victor was scared of Oz, he just doesn't reveal like, yeah, my family's fine. We found a new home. He doesn't want Oz to know that his family's alive to threaten him with, right? That's what I thought. No. So they go to this party to like watch the mayoral election fireworks, which that too should have been a dead giveaway that this was a flashback. It's been a couple years since I watched the Batman, okay? My memory's a little bit fuzzy. So as the fireworks are starting, or what they think is fireworks, an explosion happens in the background. I thought, did someone just bomb the present day election? And then more explosions happen, and then I finally realized, oh, this is a flashback to the moment the Riddler bombed the seawall. So, yes, this is a flashback to the moment the Riddler bombed the seawall, flooding Gotham. We know what the Batman was doing at that very moment. And then Victor, he's safe on top of a rooftop with his friends and girlfriend, but his family in the apartment building, like just off to the side of where he was, yo, they got hit directly by the floodwater, wiping out his family instantly. And poor Victor couldn't do anything but try to call his mom and, you know, just watch as it happened. And then we flash back, or flash... No, we don't flash back. Like, we flash return is what I'm trying to say. We come back to present day. We come back to present day where Victor and Oz are at their apartment. Sophia is about to come. And then Victor is left alone with Sophia. Damn, that's kind of scary. He's left alone with the Hangman. So at first it seemed like Victor was going to drive both Oz and Sophia, but then Sophia's like, no, just the two of us. You stay here. So Victor tells his girlfriend Gabrielle, or Gabriella, where he is. She reveals that she's leaving Gotham for, like, California, which is, like, on the other side of America, if I'm not mistaken. So Victor's debating, like, do I go with her or do I stay with Oz, right? Because if I stay with Oz, yes, I make good money, because Oz literally just started paying him $1,000 a week. Like, yeah, that's good money, but it's a life of crime. Or does he go with this girl he loves? But let's face it, he'll be broke. And potentially, given the line of quote-unquote work that these guys are in, yeah, they don't... Assumingly, you know, Victor assumes that they don't just let people leave, given the information that they know. Subscribe with Prime. Tanks, bud. Tanks, man. Even though I see none of that. Man, we all hate ads. It's a shame, but it's the world we live in. The internet is just unusable without an ad block these days. Okay, so Victor wants to leave. He wants to leave Oz. He wants to go with Gabrielle to California. So he just tries to find time and a way to tell Oz without, being killed. Anyways, throughout the episode, Oz and Sophia, they develop a new drug that they're going to distribute and sell to Gotham. It's called Bliss. What is this? What am I talking about, or the song? I think you know what the song is. I'm currently talking about Penguin Episode 3. So yeah, Oz and Sophia are producing a new drug called Bliss that comes from a red sap of a mushroom, which turns out is actually a real-life mushroom. I'm not sure if the effect is the same in real life or not. So they need a little bit of convincing to, I think, have a distributor. So they go to these Asian guys, which are like the triads. This, he talks with this Asian guy, I think his name was Link. And then he said, like, I'm gonna get you a meeting with the Dai Lo. Which, for those who don't know Chinese, Dai Lo is kind of like the big guy. Like Dai Lo. Like, I'll get you a meeting with the big guy, the Dai Lo. For those who actually know what that even means. Everything clicked when you said Oz and Gotham. Okay, but first, the Dai Lo needs a conversation on phone with Johnny Vitti. So they need some sort of dirt on Johnny. So Oz and Victor go to a restaurant. They pay respect to Victor's father. But, Victor's just trying to tell Oz, like, hey, there's this girl, she wants to leave, I'm thinking of going with her, can you please not kill me and let me go? He's trying to tell him that. Have you seen the new Absolute Batman comic? No, I have not. So they're trying to order. Victor, because he has a bit of a stutter, he has trouble saying steak frites. So the waiter is like, steak frites, sir? Is that what you mean? And then, Oz is like, hey, don't interrupt him. He was speaking. It's like, my apologies, sir. And then, like, with the stutter, he takes his time to, like, steak frites. In a way, I kind of understood Oz, like, don't cut the man off when he's trying to speak, you can tell he has a speaking issue, but then it's like, damn, workers get treated like shit, right? Anyways, before they manage to eat, they find, I forget her name, the lady who was sleeping with Johnny Vitti. So that's how they get dirt on Johnny. He makes the call to the Dai Lo, and then they set up a meeting as, in the club, as it's, parties going on. Victor and all those other girls, or ladies, they distribute, It was pretty funny seeing Oz in a giant white suit, like giant white jacket, Kingpin style. Lord knows he has the build of Kingpin. So it was pretty funny to see him wear white instead of black. Well, throughout the night, he keeps on getting text messages like, hey, are you coming? The bus is leaving soon. And then when Victor is, selling the drug on the dance floor, flashing lights and banging sounds give him PTSD to flashback to the night the explosions happened that killed his family. So he cleans up in the bathroom. Oz goes to the bathroom, sees him, sees that there's messages on the phone. It's like, give me the damn phone. Reads the messages like, that's it? You're trying to leave? You're trying to leave with the money? That was just unfortunate timing, the fact that he had the money with him. And then, this is where I really feel sad for the both of them. you know, I think Oz actually genuinely liked Victor and was actually trying to, you know, help him have a better life. Because during the dinner scene, or the restaurant scene, yeah, Oz was like, the world isn't built for the honest working man. It's like, yeah, in a way that's kind of true. Yeah, that's kind of true. Like, your father would be proud of you for doing this. You know, making a stand, doing something big in order to get yourself that better life. So I feel really bad for Oz, because he actually put his trust into this kid. And then he's like, is that what you think? Is that how you felt this whole time? The fact that I've been threatening your life to stay here? You could have left at any time. I wouldn't have stopped you. Is this how you feel? Like I'm holding you hostage? Points a gun to his head. Is this how you've been feeling this whole time? Damn, I feel bad for Oz. Because in the back of Victor's mind, he too was having doubt about leaving because he felt Oz was just lonely. He liked having Victor around. So, Victor leaves, steals his plum car. Oz is pretty down about it. So he and Sophia talk in the back, like outside. Oz admits that he screwed Sophia over. I think he tipped something off to Johnny Vitti that actually got Sophia locked up into Arkham. Even though that wasn't Oz's intention. But because that happened, Oz was able to like take over and build an empire for himself in a way. Well, around that time, the Maronis show up and are ready to kill Oz. Now, lucky for Oz, Victor actually changed his mind and came back. He rams Oz's car into one of the Maroni goons. And then they get away. They're just like, what about Sophia? Leave her! We gotta go! Now they're rushing off, and oh boy, Victor has done it now. He had the chance to leave happily and peacefully right there. Instead, he came back and, well, now that he rammed Oz's car into a Falcone, no, not a Falcone, into a Maroni goon, well, he's gonna be a target of the Maronis too now. So, oh, Victor's really done it now. He's stuck in this life now. And that's where the episode ends. What else happened? There was something else that happened that I'm not remembering to mention. What else happened? There was one other thing that happened. Oh yeah. When Oz and Sophia were going to meet with the Triad dude, so Victor was in charge of staying put in the car and watching over the bag of drugs. God damn, a cop car pulls up right behind at the worst moment possible. You know, it's not his car. There's a bag full of drugs right next to him. Wow, that's unfortunate timing. Like, that is very unfortunate. So, he gets pulled out of the car. And then, so he gets patted down to search if he has anything on him. The cop pulls out a stack of money. The cop's like, a kid your age has this is a lot of money for a kid your age. So then he comes up with, like, the worst excuse possible. He's like, I don't have any money. Like, what are you talking about? That money you just pulled out of my pocket? I don't have any money. That's not mine. I didn't have any money on me. I don't know where you pulled that money out of. Oh, thankfully the cop is corrupt and he's like, yeah, I guess you don't. This is my money now. Just takes the money and just leaves. Oz is just like, well, that's the expense of doing business. Victor got extremely lucky there. Whether or not Oz would have, like, I don't know, bailed him out if he did get arrested, maybe, probably not. I don't know. He may have. But yeah, that's Penguin Episode 3. I like this episode the most so far. My friend just sent me a picture and it's like, wow. Okay. Anyways, don't worry about that. So yeah, there's Penguin episode 3. Yeah, I like this episode the most so far. So hopefully it's only uphill from here. You know, I wonder what Bruce Wayne is up to these days. It turns out it's only been like, what, 2 weeks since the event of the Batman movie and Gotham being flooded? I'm gonna change the music real quick. Alright, so now we have Superman and Lois Season 4 to talk about. Superman and Lois. Oh, hold on, I just got a text. How do I... Can I even... Okay, I hope that didn't mess up the stream. Hold on. Okay, my bad. Haha. Hold on, let me see. Do I need to turn off the lights again? Okay. So, Superman and Lois Season 4. Now, I need to admit first that I didn't know this show premiered already. The other night when I was streaming Persona on October 7th, it turns out that that night had a 2-hour season premiere. Whoops. I thought Season 4 was premiering October 17th, not October 7th. So, whoops, my bad. I missed the premiere. But I still went back and watched it, obviously. So, yeah, whoops. And you know what, before we talk about that, speaking of Whoops. Here's something that I just found out. I just found out that Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix was canceled. And first of all, turns out it was canceled like a month ago. And then it turns out that all of Dead Boy Detectives Season 1, you know, the only season, because it's canceled, Dead Boy Detectives released on Netflix end of April. April, I think 25th? And it's October now. Whoops. I did not hear a single thing about this show's release. Not one thing. I have a fellow nerd I talk to on Discord about all this stuff. All these Marvel, DC, and Walking Dead stuff. Even he didn't know that Dead Boy Detectives came out so many months ago. So yeah, whoops. Dead Boy Detectives came out on Netflix over half a year ago. Well, not over, like just about half a year ago. And sadly, it's canceled. Or I guess potentially not sadly, depending on how you view the show, I guess. If you didn't like that it had woke elements to it, then you might be happy that it's canceled. I might go back and watch it. Yes, it's canceled, but, you know, I was curious about the show at first. Like, it was meant to be, at first, a spin-off of Doom Patrol, but then it became its own thing. And because it's on Netflix, and also deals with the supernatural side of things, maybe there might be some sort of connection to the Sandman moving forward. Maybe we could see these characters return in The Sandman. So I'm gonna maybe watch Dead Boy Detectives just for the potential of there being some sort of connection to The Sandman. And if there is not any connections, well, then I would have just wasted my time watching it. Regardless of if I liked the show or not, I would have wasted my time watching it because there would be no connection to Sandman, if that's the case. Ugh. You know those moments when you can feel a tiny bit of water go down the wrong tube? But it's not enough to make you, like, have a coughing fit? Alright, so, Superman and Lois Season 4, the premiere that I missed. Alright, so episode 1 of Season 4 picked up immediately after where Season 3 ended. So, yeah, Clark, or Superman, is fighting Doomsday out in space. We see the rest of the family dealing with, you know, no idea where Superman is and if he is alive or not. And then we see Lex Luthor, what he's up to as well. Majority of the episode, we're dealing with, you know, looking for Sam Lane. Because by the end of Season 3, Lex had taken Sam Lane. And majority of the episode, they're trying to find him. Because Clark is out in space fighting Doomsday. There's not really anything they can do about that. So in the meantime, until Superman returns, or Superman comes back, they need to find Sam Lane. So we got these, like, you know, awesome little moments of Superman fighting Doomsday out in space. It is amazing how well the CGI is on this show for, you know, a CW production. Can you imagine if Superman and Lois had, like, Flash levels of writing and visual effects? Oh, they would have ruined Superman. Well, it kind of would have been like the Supergirl show. So they eventually do find Sam Lane. Lex actually buried him, but Superboy and Lois Lane show up just in time to find him, tipping off the existence of Superboy to Lex Luthor. Now Superboy is on his radar. By the end of the episode, Doomsday returns, holding a dead Superman corpse in his arms, throws him down, goes back to Lex Luthor, hands Lex Superman's heart. And then we see the family's reaction to the death of Superman. And not gonna lie, I started tearing up. It was really well acted. So people in the town are noticing, like, Superman might really be gone. Like, these people are reacting to the death of Superman. Right then and there, Lana shows up. Or was that in the second episode? That may have been the start of the second episode. It also turns out, like, I'm just gonna talk about these two episodes back to back, you know? It also turns out that Lex bought the hotel or apartment building just across from the Smallville Gazette where Lois works to keep an eye on her, because he wants Lois to retire after what Lois did to her. After what Lois did to Lex, locking him up for 17 years for a crime he didn't commit, costing him a relationship with his daughter. So yeah, I think this is how episode 2 starts. So Lana pulls up and tells the crowd, like, everyone, Lois Lane is a really close friend to Superman, so please give her some space. Give them some space. So this guy, who I forget what his name was. Was it Chuck? Was it Rudy? I forgot what his name was. Yeah, he notices particularly how Lois is acting to the death of Superman. So that'll come back later in the episode. So Jordan really quickly takes Superman's body to the Fortress of Solitude, where, you know, spoilers? Well, too bad. So yeah, Jordan takes Superman's body, heartless body, to the Fortress of Solitude, where, you know, his grandmother, Laura Lorvan, could maybe do something to save him. I don't know what exactly he wants her to do. The man is missing his freaking heart. But, you know, she puts Superman in like a stasis. In a form of stasis. Where he doesn't age, he doesn't die. He's just preserved until maybe something can be done. Yeah, I really don't know what they expect her to do if he's missing his freaking heart. So throughout the episode, it's revealed, like, if maybe Jordan can get his hands on his father's heart and bring it back to him, there's a chance that they could save him. So this whole episode, Jordan tries to find Lex Luthor and see if he can get his father's heart back from him. But in doing so, he kind of screws everything up. He kind of makes things worse. He confronted Lex Luthor, and because of this, Lex actually discovers, first of all, who Superboy is. He discovers that it's Lois Lane's son, and then with that, he pieces together Lois Lane's husband, Clark Kent, is Superman. So because of Jordan's actions confronting Lex Luthor and trying to get his father's heart back, Lex learns who Superman is, who Lois's family is. That is pretty crazy. Whenever we get, like, you know, Superman versus Lex Luthor we always question, does Lex Luthor know that Clark Kent is Superman? Given how smart he is, he should be able to figure it out. Like, does he know and he's just teasing it? And just speaking of teasing it, it kind of doesn't really make sense why Lex doesn't reveal to the world Clark's secret identity. But in a way it also does. On one hand, you have, like, Lex wants to destroy Superman's life, so by revealing his identity, all the villains would know who he is, where he lives, who he loves the most. But on the other hand, Lex, with his inflated ego, he would be like, I'm the only one who gets to kill Superman, so I'm not telling anyone his secret, so I can be the only one to kill him. Only this time, Superman's dead, so if Lex were to reveal Superman's secret, it would basically just, like, reveal the Clark family. Jordan's life of normality would be over, as well as Lois's and Jonathan's. So, this version of Lex wants to destroy Lois's life. It would make sense for him to reveal to the world who Superman is. But I think he likes toying with Lois. Not that way. I think he likes toying with her, like, keeping her up at night, like, oh my god, is Lex going to reveal the secret to the world or not? It's driving me crazy. I can't take it anymore. The fact that he knows and he could reveal it at any time, I think he likes, you know, teasing Lois like that. Like, maybe I'll reveal it, maybe I won't. I'll just let you non-stop think about that. I'll let that keep you up at night. So, by the end of the episode, because Jordan confronts Lex Luthor, it turns out he confronted him twice the same day. So Lex is like, here you are again, the same day. I told you you're not ready. And then Lex is, you know, he's like, I know who you are now. I could take you from your mother right now. I could take you away from her forever. But I'm not going to do that. You will need to go through some sort of loss, though. So what he does is he destroys Superman's heart. So there is no chance now to bring him back to life. So now Jordan feels all guilty. Like, had he not confronted Lex Luthor, Superman's heart would still be intact for there to be a chance to bring their father back to life. But because of Jordan's recklessness and impulsiveness to confront Lex, Lex now destroyed Superman's heart, and now it's really gone. There's, like, no hope to bring him back. I don't know what Lex was doing with Superman's heart. He kept it like a trophy. I guess Kryptonian physiology is different, where they could survive a particular period of time without a heart, unless it's, like, put back in place. Because Superman lost his freaking heart, and there's a chance to bring him back if they could get his heart back, right? For a normal human, you remove your heart, you're dead within seconds. So I guess Kryptonian biology is a little bit different. I mean, it has to be, right? Otherwise, he'd already be dead. And also, Jordan mentioned that his father's heart beats 3 times instead of the average human 2 times. So by the end of the episode, with hope being lost, Superman seems to truly be dead. Lois and the family decide maybe it's time to say goodbye. It's time to say goodbye. Man, I feel so bad for Lois, because throughout the episodes we also get these flashbacks to, you know, Clark and Lois being together, falling in love, getting married. Like, right after the moment Clark told Lois he was Superman, man, you get these, like, passionate yet also awkward moments. Will I ever have these moments? Probably not. There was one flashback to immediately after Clark told Lois he was Superman. Clark was like, I know you have questions. I will answer all of them. Why'd you tell me now? Because I'm in love with you, and I didn't want to keep secrets from you. So, you know, Lois accepts who Clark is. She's like, I love you too. Now let's go to your rooms. Like, oh, you know, Clark said that his mom left to give them some space because she knew that Lois would have questions after he told her who he is. It's like, what, you've never done it on your childhood bed before? Clark's just like, I've never, oh, we're prepared to have another best day of your life. It's like, damn, that's kind of awkward for us to watch, but it's also, you know, heartwarming to see such passion. Will I ever have those in my life? Probably not. But aside from that, we also get flashbacks to other moments. Like, we get flashbacks to a Lex Luthor with a full head of hair and a big-ass beard confronting Lois. Like, Lois, you cannot post that. I've told you I'm innocent. I did not do that. To, what was it, Moxie? But Lois doesn't listen. Lois believes she's right. That Lex did kill Moxie. And then there was another flashback to right after Clark and Lois was married. Clark was fighting Inner Gang, who was supplied with kryptonite by Luthor. You know, Lois was like, we just married. I'm not ready to be a widow yet. Like, you will never lose me. That's a promise. Oh. Yeah, about that. And then there's another flash back to, you know, Lois giving birth to the twins. I think it was a reference to Natalie. Like, we know before the twins, Clark and Lois had a miscarriage with their daughter, Natalie. Well, by the end of the episode, they're all at the Fortress of Solitude, ready to say goodbye to Clark. That was emotional. But, hey, it turns out that Clark had, like, the foresight to possibly need this, so he, you know, downloads his consciousness into the Fortress of Solitude. And he did that shortly after they created the new fortress for the whole family. You know, the one in the middle of the ocean, not the one in the Arctic. So shortly after season 2, actually. Shortly after season 2, Clark did that. With the foresight in mind, like, maybe I could die one day and my family wouldn't have me anymore. So Clark downloaded his consciousness. Oh, that was sad. It also looked like he was wearing the black Superman suit. Now, the whole family's like, so this is all we have left of you? Like, you're really dead and this is all we have left of you. A copy of your consciousness. It is sad. Like, this is all they have left of their father. Their father is physically dead, but, you know, they still have a copy of his consciousness. I, too, would be sad in that moment, but I would also see it as an absolute win. Like, in a way, you still have your father, just, you know, not physically there with you, right? Yes, it is sad, but at least he's not entirely gone, right? So there is some sort of positive. Well, the episode ends on a very somber note. It seems like Superman really is dead. And all the Kent family have left of Clark is his consciousness in the Fortress of Solitude. So these were really great episodes. I am so sad that this is the final season of the show. Initially, the show was supposed to go on for like 7 seasons, but then, you know, the acquisition by Nexstar happened, and then all the DC shows got canceled. you know, one by one, all of the, what was his name again? Greg Berlanti. One by one, all of the Greg Berlanti productions stopped, or rather, like, ended. So, you know, it really is an end of an era. This show, Superman and Lois, really is the final Greg Berlanti show, like, from that era. And also, potentially, like, the last remaining remnant of the Arrowverse. Because the Arrowverse itself ended with The Flash. Everything Arrowverse adjacent had ended. Shows like Titans, Doom Patrol, Lucifer, all of those have ended. The only thing, like, technically still canon to the Arrowverse, Sis Multiverse, that is still coming out is Peacemaker. The only thing left canon in the DC Multiverse to come out, like canon to the Arrowverse Multiverse, the only thing left to come out is Peacemaker. Because it's kind of crazy to think Peacemaker is canon to the Flash Multiverse. Peacemaker is set on the DCEU, and we saw that Earth's Flash crossover with Crisis on Infinite Earths, so it is canon. And then we did also see Ezra Miller's Flash show up in the Season 1 finale of Peacemaker. So yes, Peacemaker is canon to the multiverse. So yeah, Superman and Lois is the last remnant of the old Greg Berlanti DC era of television. The only thing left canon to the Arrowverse yet to come out is Peacemaker. So yeah, once Superman and Lois is over, the CW is dead to me. I have no reason to have the CW as a channel anymore. It has no shows I watch. The new programs that they're doing, more reality TV shows, not for me. So once Superman and Lois is over, the CW is dead to me. Hold on. So I have one more show to talk about, but before I do, I want to text a friend of mine to see where he's at. Because ideally I want him to be here, because I watched this for him. How are you guys doing? Oh, my fat ass is out of breath from talking about all those shows. Okay, before I talk about the final show I have in mind, let me talk about one other quick topic. So, there is a chance that in January, I might be going to Hong Kong for like a month. Let me say that again. in January, there is a chance I might be going to Hong Kong for like a month. I really don't want to go. I do not want to go. You guys know I hate going there. I hate going to that place. Only reason I do and would ever go there is for family. There is one potential saving grace, but that saving grace alone is pretty disappointing. You guys know I've wanted to take a trip to Japan for a decade at this point. The pandemic happened, and then I failed school 3 times. It just never worked out. Me taking a trip to Japan just never worked out. So, if I were to go to Hong Kong in January for like a couple weeks to a month, well, we are right there, right next to Japan. My family is willing to take me there if I do go with them, but we would only go for like 4 days. Man, I did not wait a decade to go to Japan just to go for 4 measly days. If I'm going to Japan, I'm going there for a couple weeks to a month. I sure as hell am not spending weeks at a place I hate, like Hong Kong, just to go to a place I've wanted to go for over a decade, like Japan, for a handful of days. I am not spending anything less than minimum a week in Japan. I am not flying all the way to Hong freaking Kong and spending like 3 weeks there just to be in Japan for like 4 days. Man, that's a no deal for me. That sounds pretty bad for a deal, I'm not gonna lie. Why would I do it? Why would I consider it? First of all, just know I'm very not happy that this is seemingly how it's playing out. I am very not happy about this. Just know that no matter what I do, unless I go to the trip, unless I go on a Japan trip either alone or with a group of friends, if I'm going with family, I will almost certainly always go to Hong Kong either before or after. Because, well, if I'm already halfway across the world, I am literally right beside where family is. At that point, it would be stupid and a waste not to just fly, I don't know, like 3-4 hours just to see them, right? If I go to Japan, I may as well just go there and visit family, right? I go all the way to Japan. At that point, it would just be stupid for me to not stop by Hong Kong and say hi to the family, right? Not the other way around. I am not purposely going all the way to Hong Kong just to spend a couple days in Japan. Oh man, I really don't want to do this. I really don't. I really don't want to spend like 3 weeks in Hong Kong just to spend like 4 days in Japan. To me, that deal sounds like it sucks. So why am I potentially considering this awful ass deal? One that I clearly really don't want to do? Well, couple of reasons. Number one, the biggest thing, family. My grandma's only getting up there in age. She's not getting younger. And something in January, something spiritually, grandma's birthday. I don't know if it's her actual birthday or not, or another like Chinese antic with the calendar. I don't know. At this point, my mom has like 3 birthdays in the year because of that freaking Chinese calendar. So, that's one reason. if I don't go now and spend time with my grandma, then I might not spend any more time with my grandma ever again. You know? Grandpa's already gone. I can't spend any more time with him. While grandma's still living and breathing on this earth, I may as well, right? And if it's to celebrate whether or not it's her actual birthday or not, or some calendar antics, well, at least I'll have that memory to hold on to for the rest of my life instead of 30 years from now thinking, damn, grandma's gone. I really wish I did that back then, just to spend some time with her. Because it's been, maybe like 8, 9 years, nearly a decade since I saw my grandma. Like, if I wait another decade, my grandma's just not going to be here anymore. Is it sad that you never met yours? Don't worry, buddy, it's okay. I never met my other grandmother either. So yeah, like, that's mainly, or mostly, the main reason why I'm considering doing this terrible deal. I go to stinking Hong Kong for 2 to 3 weeks. Spend time with my grandma. And then, I spent like 4 days in Japan. God damn it, that's not enough time! I sure as hell don't want to fly across the planet to go to a place that I don't even like going to begin with, only to spend 4 days at a place I've wanted to go to for over a decade. Like, that just sounds unreasonable to me, right? I don't even like going to Hong Kong. I really, really don't. And for me to spend weeks there just to go to Japan for a couple of days, man, that's not worth it. That is nowhere near worth it. Now, if it was backwards, if I were to spend 2 to 3 weeks in Japan and then only go to Hong Kong for 4 days, now that's a deal I would take. But clearly I'm not the one in control, right? It's my mother's mother, so normally, naturally, she would want to spend more time with her than I would, right? I don't know. I really don't want to do this, but, like, I know I'll regret not doing it in the future. You know, it's kind of the same thing with what happened, 8 years ago? 8 years ago, you know, after my grandpa died, I flew all the freaking way to Hong Kong for like, I don't know, 3, 4 days, just to attend his funeral and then come back, right? To one, that would seem like a waste of time and money, but it was for my grandpa's funeral, right? So looking back, like, yeah, sure, I'm glad I did that, I'm glad I was there, right? Oh, man. Like, I really don't want to fly all the way there for weeks. See, the thing is, like, if you guys remember, damn, nearly a year ago at this point. A year ago at this point, nearly, my mom and sister went to Hong Kong for like 3 weeks to a month. And my sister, I see you just sent me a screenshot of Galarian Moltres. Too bad it's not shiny. My sister, I got a shiny Shinx in Pokemon Go today, by the way. My sister, she likes going to Hong Kong, but even she was saying, like, 3 weeks is a little too much for her. I don't even like going there. So imagine me spending 3 weeks there. Oh, man. This seems like a terrible deal for me. I don't want to do this, but I'll regret not doing it. You know, if I don't do this, I'll be like, man, I wish I spent time with Grandma. And I'll also be like, damn, 4 days in Japan is better than nothing. You know, a coworker of mine just went to Japan and he's going there for a month. And he's there alone. He just took a trip alone to Japan. I don't know, I really need to think this over. I seriously need to think this over. I have like 2 months to think it, not even. I have like a month and a half. Because I need to give my family an answer. So I have like a month and a half to decide. I really need to think this over. Do I waste a couple weeks of my life there, of all places? When you going to Anime Land? Maybe in January. End of January. Because I would depart for Hong Kong early January, and I would be in Asia for a majority of the month. So I would spend a couple weeks in Hong Kong, much to my, you know, misery. And then the final days of the trip, we would go to Japan, book a hotel, spend a couple days there, not even a full week. And then I come all the way back to Canada. Do I go? Do I stay? Where in Japan? Don't know yet. I'm still in the deciding phase if I will or not. So it's too early to say where in Japan. I don't even know how many boxes I've hatched so far. Is that the third box? 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, that is the third box for tonight. I can see all my family, my relatives, you know, that's cool, I guess. I'm not really that close with them, but it's like, sure, I can see them. It's mostly seeing my grandma. That's what's important. My uncle, well, he just died, so I can't really see him anymore. He died of cancer earlier this year. I didn't really know him. So, well, too bad. Can't spend any more time with him. I don't even know what he looks like. I don't remember what he looks like. I can see my cousins. Sure, that'd be cool, I guess. But it's mostly spending time with grandma. That's the most important thing. That is the deciding factor if I do this or not. Do I want to see my grandma? Yes. While she's still breathing and alive? Yes. Do I really want to spend 3 weeks in Hong Kong? Hell no. I hate going there. Hey, at least I'll be going in January. So it won't be blazing hot like in summer. At least there's that. I've only been to Hong Kong once, not in the summer, and that was for my grandpa's funeral. I went there in like December, and I don't remember a damn thing. I don't remember how cold or hot it was. I don't remember. I always went to Hong Kong for an extended amount of time during summers. So I always associate Hong Kong with heat. And I don't like the heat. So at least there's that. If I do decide to go, then it'll be not the surface of the sun. I mean, you know, let's weigh the pros and cons. The pros, I see my grandma. I go to Japan. The cons, like 3 weeks in Hong Kong and 4 days in Japan. 3 weeks of suffering for 4 days of Japan with all of its glory. Hell fucking yeah, do it. I really need to think this over. I have time. I really, really need to think it over. Pro, he goes to Hong Kong. Con, he is in Hong Kong. Yeah, that kind of sums it up. Oh, man. You can't really do much in Japan in 4 days? Exactly. At that point, what's the point in going, right? If I'm gonna go to Japan, I may as well make the most of it and spend minimum a week there. Ideally, I would like to go to Japan for like 2 weeks. Yeah, clearly that's not gonna happen. But hey, going to Hong Kong for 2 weeks? Hell yeah. That can easily be done. But Japan? No, 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 no. Your coworker went there for 4 days and she said she did nothing? Well, that's reassuring. Thank you. Makes me feel much better. She just came back she just came back in mid-August. You know, there is technically another pro to it. There's a chance that it won't just be myself and my mom. It won't just be the two of us. There's a chance that my dad might be going to. Just because he needs to be in person to renew his citizenship and get like a China visa? I don't know. Something he needs to do in person. So yes, there is a chance I might be going to China as well. Now, I've been to China for like an hour. There was one time I was in Hong Kong with my parents. We took a subway for like 3 hours to China to see something, and then we came back. I don't really remember much. I didn't even realize we were in China. All I remember was being on the subway for a very long time, and then we got out, we looked around, and then we went back. So yeah, it turns out we were in China. So I've been to China for like an hour. Okay, I think it's time to change this music. This music's been playing on for quite a while. It's been playing for 47 minutes. Well, just because I can't think of anything else to do right now. Hell yeah, China. Gotta bump up those social credits somehow. Ah, yes. Gotta deal with the Great Wall of China and the Great Firewall of China. Alright, now that I've talked about my dilemma, do I go to, you know, Chinese land or not? My door just opened because my dog just walked in. Hi, Dopes. Alright, good boy now. Go lie down. Alright. Now that I've talked about that... Ooh. Hold on, let me see what's going on outside. I see lights on. I see electricity being wasted. You guys know it's getting cold outside now? It's October, it's no longer summer. It was quite cold today. Today was like 9 degrees Celsius. I'm bad with telling temperature. All I know it was pretty cold today, to the point I need to not only have a sweater, but also a jacket on top of the sweater. The lights on outside is your sleep paralysis demon. Okay, now that I've talked about that, let me talk about the 5th and final show I have to talk about today. It is a show that was highly requested I watch. I finally decide to watch it after all this time. Been seeing a lot of buzz about this show. So last night I finally watched the first episode, and that show is From. I watched episode 1 of From. A certain someone I know would not shut up about me watching this show, saying it's, my type of show. It's a show perfect for me. And also I've been seeing online like non-stop buzz about the show ever since I learned about it. I've been seeing like reviews for the show pop about it, theories about it pop up, the freaking trailer for I think like season 3 pop up. So I thought, okay, maybe this is like, a show worth watching. Maybe it really is something that I would be interested in, despite having like no knowledge on what it is. So last night, I watched the first episode after watching Superman and Lois. And, it was a cute show. It was a pretty cute show. No, I'm kidding. Cute is like the last thing to describe the show with. So I went into the show basically blind, not knowing anything about it except for like the bare bones basic premise. It's a very small town, like an extremely small town, like a dozen buildings. There's like some sort of curse put on it. Nobody can leave. And at nighttime, you get these monsters that show up that will devour you. So everyone must remain indoors. Like, away from outside at night. And anyone who enters the little, extremely little town, well, sucks to be them. Like, unfortunate for them, they're now stuck here. Now they have to survive. Alright, so the way the show opens, we meet this sheriff who is telling everyone, alright, time to go back into your house. Time to lock up for the night. That alone is already giving you hints like, okay, something's up with this place. Everyone's going into their houses. Everyone's locking the doors, covering the windows. Everyone's touching this rock thing that seems to be like a good luck charm. That seems to be like, I don't know, a cross to ward off evil. I don't know. I only saw episode 1. They haven't explained what that is yet. So, this is also rated TVMA, by the way. It's like excellent. Fantastic. They're not holding back. Alright, so, before the intro happens, we meet this mother and young daughter. She tells her daughter, go pray before bed, as she locks up the doors because her drunk husband hasn't shown up back yet. So the girl hears a voice coming from the outside of her window. It's like, it's Grandma. Please let me in. I promise it'll be our secret. She like uncovers the window, sees this old lady standing there. It's like, you're not my grandma. It's like, will you let me in to play? So the little girl stupidly opens the window, letting this monster in. And then the next morning, we see both the mother and little girl dead. We see both of their chest cavities completely hollowed out. So whatever these monsters are pretty vicious. So then we meet this unfortunate family who just seems to be going on a road trip to meet their in-laws. They get lost, so they take a turn, unfortunately, into this little town. And now they're stuck here. They try to leave, they just keep on coming back. So, you know, the townsfolk are trying to, like, are thinking, like, how do we break the news to them? How do we tell an innocent family that they're stuck now in a cursed little town with no way out that has monsters that hunt you at night? How do we tell someone that? Why does it sound like Resident Evil? When I was watching the show, to me it kind of played out more like analog horror, you know? Analog horror with mimics or alternates. Monsters that, you know, take the form of humans to try to get close to you to, you know, obviously kill you. So it kind of reminded me of analog horror with alternates or mimics. So yeah, the family is trying to leave, the family in the RV. We meet the family, I think their names are Jim, Tabitha, I forget what the name of the kids are. Anyway, so the family in the RV is trying to leave. They keep on just circling back because now that they're in, there's no way out. Another poor soul driving in a car is driving towards them. They almost get into a car crash. The other car crashes into a tree. The RV just goes straight off the road. Is on its side. Well, everyone's injured, especially the son, the little boy. He's just impaled through his leg. And, you know, that's bad. They're bad. They're in forbidden territory at this point. And we know what happens after it turns dark. There are monsters that you know, tear you apart at night. So, yeah, that's bad. 2 car accidents, innocent people inside. It's turning dark. They don't have much time left. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Excuse me. And to make things worse, the little boy is impaled and stuck in the car. So he's kind of trapped there. They're obviously not just going to leave him behind. So I find it pretty funny. The guy who crashed the car, so he got help. He was brought into the little infirmary inside the town. He didn't mention to anyone that there was another person in the car. He just didn't mention that at all to anybody. It's like, I wasn't alone in that car. Someone else was in that car. He just doesn't mention that at all. So later on in the episode, it's a surprise to see someone else step out of that car. Okay, so the townsfolk is warning the family in the RV, like, you gotta listen to us, trust us, we need to find shelter now. It is not safe outside at night. We have to go right now. So the mother and daughter go towards the town while the father is, you know, sticking with his son who is impaled inside the car. You have the local town doctor lady, the EMT, I guess, trying to help get the son out, and then the sheriff. He's trying to cover up the windows to the RV so that they can't be spotted by the monsters outside. First of all, I don't know why this happened yet. I only saw episode 1. The guy who crashed the car, he was killed by some girl in town. Why she killed him, don't know yet. Maybe they'll explain that in episode 2. She just kissed him, which was very weird, and then she just stabs him into the neck. You even see, like, the stab go through his mouth, and even his tongue is stabbed. Dang, you watching from... Where were you the past 15 minutes of me talking about the show? So, like, she killed him for no reason. I'm not sure why she killed him yet. I gotta say, whatever effects they did, wow, that was really good. It looked really realistic. So, the way the episode ends is they're obviously stuck in the RV. It's nighttime now, and to make it worse, it's raining. The monsters are coming out of the woods. They look like normal people. In fact, they look good. They look clean. They don't even look wet from the rain. So you can tell that something's creepy, something's off about them. But, you know, these aren't human beings. These are monsters who's taking up the appearances of humans. So they're all just approaching and surrounding the RV. And then the episode ends. It ends with the pretty big cliffhanger to end off episode 1. Well, everyone in the RV is surrounded now. How the hell are they going to survive this? And I find it kind of stupid. I found this kind of strange. So the sheriff is well knowledgeable on how to deal with these things or how to avoid them. He knows to obviously stay indoors, lock the doors, cover up the windows. This idiot here covers the RV windows with a blanket and then is peeking out of it. He sees hordes of monsters approaching. He just doesn't cover the window. He just keeps on looking. All the monsters outside can see you peeking out. What, you just thought at this point they already know we're here, so there's no point to cover ourselves anymore? Like, why would you not try to hide? You just kept on looking. They can see you. They know you're in there now. Like, I don't understand why he didn't just cover everything up and just stay quiet. He just kept on looking. I don't know. That was episode 1. How this, Hollywood. How this show has 10 episodes, I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, you know, how much the plot gets played out, like dragged out, or maybe the plot is just that fantastic and it takes 10 episodes a season, right? Realistically, it's a really simple premise, which I don't know how they're going to stretch into 10 episodes, let alone 3 seasons. It's a very simple premise. You're stuck in a cursed town where you can't leave, and there are monsters that hunt you at night. It's like, how do you make 3 seasons out of that? I will find out as I keep watching. Obviously, one big plot point, at least I hope, is going to be unraveling the mystery of why this place is cursed, why anyone can't leave, why there are monsters around. Obviously, those are going to be mysteries that are hopefully going to be answered at some point. But aside from that, the whole survival aspect, like, how do you make 3 seasons out of this? Unless you introduce new characters, new plot lines and new situations for you to deal with. It's like, I'm having a hard time seeing how this gets dragged out to 10 episodes, let alone 3 seasons. I'll find out as I keep watching. What if this is the new Walking Dead? Nah. Drink water, guys. Drink water. So, there you go. Those are the 5 shows I watched and talked about with you guys. Isn't it kind of crazy I watched From before I even watched The Boys? I'm gonna watch The Boys at some point. Trust. It's just, well, now I have 5 shows a week to watch. Bro, it's 10 times better than The Boys? Liar! How dare you disrespect The Boys like that? I don't know. I haven't seen really either of them. I don't know. Man, hearing that come from you, you were glazing The Boys for so long. All of a sudden, you find out about this show from, and then, you know, The Boys is like, who? The Boys who? The chills you're gonna get, though, I'll be the judge of that. If I am not creeped out, I better get the spooks. This show better be terrifying. And there probably is. There better not be no stupid horror movie tropes where it's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? That is stupid. You did that. You are going to die. Bro, Jamie Maguire was meant for the show. You'll understand later. Who the hell is that? American novelist? I don't recognize really any of the actors from. So these are all new actors to me. So I don't really recognize damn near any of them from anything. Don't search it up, bro. You're gonna get spoiled. I don't even. Even if I saw something, I wouldn't know what it meant. You guys wanna know something about this bozo in chat right now? He damn near got on his knees and begged me to watch this show. He said that, you know, he wants someone to talk to about this show. Bro, I got no one to talk to about this show. It's like, my, how the turntables. You know how many shows I have no one to talk to about? My. Ah, now you know how it feels, right? After all the shows I've watched and had no one to talk to about with? Alright, now that I watched your show, now that I'm watching your show from, you gotta watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Walking Dead, the rest of The Flash, even though it got pretty bad by the end. You got all the Netflix shows, the Marvel Netflix shows to watch. You gotta go in the order of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Daredevil Season 2, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, Punisher. You watched Flash, Arrow, Walking Dead 2? Yeah, you didn't finish them, though. You got 11 seasons of Walking Dead to get through. 8 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, even though only the first 3 are actually good. Season 6 was okay. You also have World Beyond, which was mid at best. You have now the 3 spin-offs, Dead City, Daryl Dixon, and The Ones Who Live. Punk ass talk about some, I got no one to talk to about this show. Bitch, I ought to smack you across the face. given how many shows I watch and got no one to talk about. It's like, talk to me about not having anyone to talk to about this stuff. And you know, speaking of people crying, so in Pokemon Go, I bought the Master Ball Research for $11 plus tax. I don't know what y'all punk asses in America are crying about, it being $8. Shit, try $11 here in Canada plus tax. What the hell y'all punks down there crying about it being $8? It's like, of course I'm gonna pay to get another Master Ball. It's a freaking Master Ball. I hear that the shiny Galarian birds have a small chance to flee. Well, yeah. Master Ball. You know, I did fail a shiny in Pokemon Go yesterday. Because, obviously, now shiny Galarian birds are added. I want to use my daily incense. Because I didn't go to work yesterday, normally what I do is on my way to work in the car ride, not me driving, I do the daily incense on my way to work. But because on days where I don't go to work, I got no car ride to do the daily incense in. So my only option is to actually walk around in my neighborhood and do the daily incense. Issue is, the reception in my area sucks balls, and the internet connection is horrible. So that's what happened yesterday. I went to the local park near me, I walked around, and my god, it just would not connect. The internet sucked. It sucked so bad that I had a shiny Chansey show up on my daily incense. And because the internet was so balls, it wouldn't catch and it fled. So I failed a shiny Chansey yesterday in Pokemon Go because the internet was so ass. Man, I'm just like, I'm never doing this again. On my day off of work, I would rather just not even do it. You know, I would rather not do it over just having that bad of an internet. And, you know, potentially, yeah, failing any shinies. I would just, I'm never doing this again. I mean, maybe what I could try is, like, I could just, like, walk around my house, still connected to my internet, like, my house internet, just walk around my house. Maybe I could try that. My neighbors are gonna think I'm crazy. Like, that boy is possessed. He's walking around his house, like, 8 dozen times. I actually grabbed the eggs in the wrong order just now. So if a shiny comes out of these eggs, well, the order's gonna be messed up. So I will be able to do this more often, to shiny hunt here more often. Man, I still got so much stuff to catch up on, so much stuff to watch as well. A couple movies came out, and I still haven't watched them yet. I haven't seen Transformers 1 yet. I heard that was really good. I haven't seen Joker 2 yet. I heard that was really bad. I think at this point it might be pretty pointless to go to the theater to watch Transformers 1. Since it's been out in theaters for so long. And I kind of don't want to watch Joker in theaters just because I heard it's so ass. I know. I should make my own opinion from watching it myself. But seeing the fact that this thing made less than Morbius and Madam Web, it has the lowest cinema score of comic book movie history. Yeah, it kind of makes me don't want to go and watch it in theaters. I'll wait for it to come out on digital and then I'll watch it then, just to see how truly stinky butt cheeks it is. Like, I kind of don't want to pay money to go and watch it if it's really rumored to be that bad. Transformers 1, though, I think it's just a little too late for me to go and watch it in theaters. There's also a couple of animes that I still haven't caught up on yet. I still haven't seen Season 2 of Oshinoko yet. And then there was that summer anime that blew up, and I wanted to check it out, I just haven't yet. It was like hides her feelings in German or what? No, Russian. Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. I'm sure people who know what that is, just hearing that name is, just moist just by hearing that. So that alone is 2 animes I had to catch up on. So, anyways, 2 animes to catch up on, couple of movies for me to watch whenever they come out on digital. Possibly watch the one and only season of Dead Boy Detectives, even though it's canceled. Maybe there's a connection to Sandman in the future, maybe not. Obviously, a couple other shows that I've been saying for years that I was going to watch and still haven't yet. The Boys, and by extension, Gen V. There's also, man, I said for like 2 years now I would watch Arcane, and I still haven't done that yet. I'm a busy guy, okay? I'm busy shiny hunting Pokemon, watching other stuff, or just flat out procrastinating on watching those shows. I'm busy, okay? And, speaking of Pokemon, all the Pokemon Journeys and Horizon, oof, that alone is going to take me who knows how long to finish watching. Or, just catch up on. Wow, instead of, absorbing useful knowledge that'll get me dates with ladies, I instead succumb myself to watching all this, let's face it, junk, brain rot. No, I'm kidding. Instead of me absorbing knowledge from school or whatever, well, this is the knowledge I instead choose to download into my brain, leaving no memory space for actual useful information. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention too? Superman and Lois. Elizabeth Henstridge is going to be playing Luthor's daughter, Elizabeth Luthor. I find it pretty funny that the actress is playing a character with the exact same name, even though I think she's going to be going by Lizzie, short for Elizabeth. So Elizabeth Henstridge is going to be playing Elizabeth Luthor. I just find that pretty funny. And, hey, that's a W for me and other comic book fans, or rather comic book TV fans. Elizabeth Henstridge played Gemma Simmons on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but you don't need me to tell you that. So, that's a huge dub. So we got Walking Dead actor Michael Cutlets. We got Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actress Elizabeth Henstridge. Now they're doing DC stuff. It'll be me seeing Marvel, DC, and Walking Dead all on screen at the same time. I wonder what accent she's going to have. Is she going to have her usual British accent, or is she going to put on an American accent? We'll have to wait and see. I just find it really hilarious that Elizabeth Henstridge is playing Elizabeth Luthor. You know, sometimes I wonder, why don't screenwriters or whatever, why don't they just have the actors play characters with their actual names? Right? Now, obviously, you can't do that with every single movie that exists. And a lot of times where that is the case, it's not a scripted movie, right? It's more of a documentary or reality movie, you know? But it's like, you know, Elizabeth Henstridge is playing Elizabeth Luthor. Why don't they really just ever have the actors just play characters with their own names? Probably because it would just take out of the immersion. Like, you don't see the characters, you just see the actors. It's like, so what if the characters have the exact same name as the actor, right? You see Robert Downey Jr. on screen play a character named Robert, next to Chris Evans playing a character named Chris. This thing is low on power. I need to charge this. Where's the outlet? I can't see. Where is it? Where is it? Where's that outlet? There we go. I don't know, whoops, 3D is slightly on. I don't know how often I'm going to watch from. Like, do I watch an episode a day? Clearly I didn't watch one today yet. Do I watch it every other day? Do I watch an episode a week? Like, I don't know how I'm going to watch, how frequently I'm going to watch it yet. Maybe whenever I have time, maybe whenever I feel like it. I can watch one episode and then like a month passes. Like, now I finally feel like watching another episode. You know, it's different for all the other shows I'm watching and talking about because there's only one episode coming out a week. This one, well, the seasons have been done for a couple years, so I can watch it at any time. I need more water. I don't talk this much. I wonder how the people in From get their food. I didn't see no gardens growing. Then again, maybe there is and they just haven't showed it yet. Season 3 is still airing right now. There's going to be more than 3 seasons. I really can't see how, but okay. Once I start watching the show, I'll probably understand how it's lasting so many seasons on such a relatively simple premise. Was that all the eggs? It was. And it looks like I hatched 2 females back to back. It ain't that simple. Yeah, I figured. Alright, so when you gonna watch some of the shows that, you know, I watch, so that way I can have someone to talk to about the stuff I watch, And, you know, not just one season and call it there. When you're gonna watch the entirety of one of the shows I watch so that I actually have someone to talk to about, When's that happening, buddy, Once you have caught up, I'll watch one of your shows too. Uh-huh. Man, people these days, they just don't watch long shows anymore. Someone like you, they see 11 seasons of Walking Dead, it's like, oh, no, that's too long. That's too much. I'm not watching all that. No, that's too long. Well, these days you get short-ass seasons, like 6 episodes for one season, and then people complain it's too little. It's like, y'all seem to forget how cable TV used to work back in the day. Where it would air a season, like, for a majority of the year. Nowadays, it's different. 6 episodes a season, you wait a year to watch the season. 6 weeks later, not even a month and a half later, well, the season's done. Wait a whole nother year for it. I mean, let's see. What are some of the longest shows I've watched? Obviously, Walking Dead, 11 seasons. Flash, 9 seasons. Arrow, 8 seasons. Smallville, 10 seasons. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., 7 seasons. A lot of other shows I watched that were really good, they either ended with, you know, not as many seasons or were canceled. Daredevil was canceled after season 3, and now it's getting a revival with Daredevil Born Again. Doom Patrol and Titans ended with season 4. Oh yeah, Lucifer, that got 6 seasons. Stargirl basically ended abruptly with season 3. Yeah, Superman and Lois. It was meant to get like 7 seasons, but instead now it's ending with season 4, which is such a great shame. This show is excellent, and yet this show is ending abruptly as well. Yes, the writers had enough time to properly write an ending, but it's still sad. We could have gotten 7 seasons, but instead we're only getting 4 of a really, and I mean really, excellent show that came from the CW of all places. And you know, so far a lot of the Marvel shows just haven't been banging, right? WandaVision was pretty good. Falcon and Winter Soldier was aight. Loki was my favorite. What If Season 1 was pretty good. Season 2 was a bit messy. And then you got other shows. All the other shows after that. She-Hulk was trash. Miss Marvel was okay. It was charming. Secret Invasion was trash. Moon Knight was decent, you know. It didn't live up to its full potential due to the stupid PG-13 rating. What else? What else? Obviously, there's Agatha All Along, which isn't even done yet, so it's not right to judge it just yet. What other shows have come out? Yeah, a lot of shows just, So basically all of next week I'll be working non-stop because my sister's going on her honeymoon. It's like I mentioned this earlier, how cozy for her. She's about to go on a whole week trip to Paris. And wow, this week she's taking 2 days off of work. I mean, sadly, there's really not much happening at work, you know, because it's back to school. So it's pretty quiet at work to the point where she's honestly, like, barely even needed. But still, it's like, how nice for her. Just before going on a trip, 2 days off because she said so. Oh, you guys want to hear something that just came up in conversation with my mom? So my mom and I were driving home from work. So the topic kind of came up of, you know, me possibly going to Hong Kong with them. And if my dad doesn't come with us, it would be my sister and my dad here, while my mom and I go to Asia. And the two of us are just thinking, like, these two are doomed. How the hell are these two gonna survive without us? Because these two, they don't eat. They just don't eat. My dad has kinda reverted back to a child where I need to watch him to make sure he eats. You know, I can't even trust him to eat if I just simply give him food and walk away. And, well, it was the exact same, from what I hear. It was the exact same with my sister as she was growing up. Because my parents, with a very toddler sister of mine, they just had trouble feeding her. She just refused to eat. So, yeah, my dad kind of reverted backwards to not eating. So I need to watch him. I need to constantly give him food and watch him eat it to make sure he actually eats it. Because sometimes what my dad does is he just has food there, even if it's not busy, he just won't eat. And he'll just let the food sit there all day and it'll just go to waste. So nowadays what I have to do is I have to sit there and watch him eat. Make sure he eats. Man, something shitty that the two of them do is that they don't eat their food entirely, 100%. They'll leave like bites of it left over to waste. Like the other day I gave my dad a sandwich. It had a piece of Spam as well as an egg. He left like all the crust. He left like a bite of egg and Spam left. So he ate like damn near 90% of the sandwich, leaving like 10%. Actually, more like, no, 80%. He ate 80% of the sandwich and just left 20% to go to waste. Now, my mom and I, we would have basically, like, we would have left no crumb behind. Those two, however, they barely eat, and when they do, they just don't finish. So, it came up in conversation, like, how the hell are those two going to survive without us making them food and feeding them? Because neither of them really know how to cook, my sister and my dad. And then, the topic came up of, like, do you think, like, I asked my mom this, do you think they told him to look for a wife who could cook? Do you think, like, I asked my mom, do you think that his parents asked him to find a wife who could cook? My mom said something like his mom wouldn't admit to her own shortcomings that way. Like, you know, think of it like her admitting, son, find yourself a wife who can cook because your own mother couldn't cook for you. Because his parents, his mom, can't really cook. I'm sure she can cook, like, very, very simple things. But in terms of, like, cooking an entire meal for the family, like, every single day, no. The only one in the family, like his side of the family, who really knows how to cook is his grandma. And his grandma only cooks vegan food because she's vegan. So I asked, like, do you think his parents asked him or, like, told him to find a wife who knows how to cook? And my mom basically said she would not admit to her own shortcomings that way. Like, find someone who can cook because no one else in the family could cook. I can't cook for you, son. What am I yapping about? Do I have to explain it all again? I said it all. Now I gotta repeat myself just because yo ass wasn't here to hear it? Well, even if they did say that to him, well, too bad. He married my sister, and my sister can't cook for dear life. Now he's stuck with her. So, in a way, too bad for him. Now he's stuck with her. I told my friends this, and they were like, that's a very Asian response. That is such a Chinese mom response. Like, Mom, do you think his parents asked him to find a wife who knows how to cook? My mom really said she would not admit to her own shortcomings like that. Essentially saying, son, find someone who can cook because I, your mother, can't cook for you. So then I asked my mom, like, what does that mean for me? Should I find someone who cannot cook? Or, like, what does that mean for me? Well, I'm not trying to brag. I know how to cook. I may not be able to cook fancy gourmet dishes, but I can still at least make food, right? I won't burn the kitchen down, like my sister probably would. So it's like, if I learned how to cook from my mom, if I know how to cook, do I find someone who doesn't know how to? Do I find someone who does? Like, wait a second, how does it work? Bro's reading too deep into it. Are you gonna become the male wife? You mean a husband? A male wife. Do you just mean a husband? Oh my god. Boy, if the internet saw what you were saying right now, you would get flamed. and I'm gonna expose you. Are you gonna become the male wife? He can cook, he can clean. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Oh, so many people could take that the wrong way. The house husband. You can find yourself someone who makes 6 to 7 figures. Whoops. Oh, all the eggs haven't even hatched yet. You see, I always say the same thing with that train of thinking. I could say all I want. You know, I need someone smart in my life. I need someone... I could say that. I need someone rich in my life. I could find myself... Well, I need to find myself a girl out there with money. I need someone in my life who makes 6 to 7 figures. But the real question is, does someone who makes 6 to 7 figures need me in her life? Now that is a resounding no. That is an instant no. That is the easiest no ever. Does someone smart and competent does someone smart, capable, and competent need me in her life? Hell no. You see, it has to work both ways, right? I could say all I want. I need someone with money in my life. But the question is, does someone with money need me in her life? Hell no. You know, it's like, does he need someone who can cook in his life? Probably. But too bad for him, he married my sister. I see lights on in the house. Give me a second, I got... Ooh, those lights! Those lights! I gotta turn off those lights! Oh, Tobes, you opened the door. Ugh. Okay, what I might do... Hi, sweetie. Oh my god, another bot? Okay, I have 10 more eggs to hatch tonight. What I might do is... I might end the stream for like 2 minutes and then come back. Because, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot to send a postcard from Pokemon Go today. And I think I am just about to get the golden lure. And I kind of can't do that while I'm doing this. I should have done that before I did this. Yeah, whoops. I am, hold on. Okay, as you guys can see here, I am kind of in the middle of a Lunala raid. I am so over odds for this. There we go. Who knows, maybe this will be shiny right now. I have spent days on this. I am shaking so much. You can see my mouse cursor on the screen too. Nope. Nope. Oh! Shiny Absol! And no shiny Lunala. Hey! Look at that. Just on time, I showed a shiny on screen. Lonely Nature. Well, there goes that solo path. Alright. I have 10 eggs left to hatch. I will be back in like a couple minutes. I'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Give me just a second. You know, now I need to edit together both parts before I post it. Well, that's okay. That's what the $2,000 PC is for. Makes exporting videos that much easier. And arguably faster as well. Alright, so I sent the postcard. I indeed did get the golden lure. I also caught an Eevee and a Beldum while I was at it, because, you know, good candies. I also opened whatever gifts I had yet to open before it hit midnight. Okay, so 10 more eggs to go. Let's do this. So I started a little earlier tonight just because it seems I need that extra bit of time to hatch 5 boxes of eggs, and yeah, that seems to be the case. Well, it's back to doing random Lunala paths for me until the damn bat shines. Oh, I'm so sick of doing Lunala raids. And what sucks is, I got Necrozma raids to do afterwards, and that's gonna suck even more. Because Necrozma is just one level higher difficult than Lunala. Yeah, sure, that looks straight. Well, it just passed midnight. It's now 12:01. We are a minute into the dark hour. Or would the dark hour have completely passed already? You know, I'm still not familiar with how the dark hour works in terms of timing. Do normal people just go from midnight to 1 a.m. from the dark hour? Or is it like midnight, dark hour happens, and 1 second after midnight has passed? Time for you to watch more from... Nah, it's time for you to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daredevil, Walking Dead, The Flash, even though the later seasons sucked. You know, to this day, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still my favorite show. Walking Dead would be my second, you know. Yes, Walking Dead is a great show, despite its flaws and, you know, ups and downs. Every show has its ups and downs, right? The reasons Walking Dead's not my number one favorite is just because, like, there's a lot of death, a lot of depressing moments, you know. Yes, it's a great show about family and, you know, humanity, but there's also a lot of death, a lot of gore. It's like, it's a little depressing all the time, right? But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it just has that charm, and the show just kept on evolving. It was great. I tell you what, Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was still peak. It was still fantastic. Oh, I tell you, watching Season 4 as it aired on TV, I just could not wait. Every episode just kept on just going up. The story just kept on getting crazier and crazier every episode. And then I remember I was heartbroken to find out there was a month break just before they were about to enter the framework arc. Going from the LMD arc to the framework arc and realizing there was a month break. I'm just like, no! I want to know what happens now! You know, it's no Season 6 cliffhanger for The Walking Dead, but still. I might need to wake up early tomorrow to go to breakfast with my family. Maybe. We'll see. Because sometimes whenever my sister sleeps over at her husband's place, he... Actually, no. Actually, we might not have to tomorrow. No, I think we're going to dinner at that place tomorrow night. So we're not going to have breakfast there in the morning. Never mind. Ignore what my stupid ass is saying. I'm delirious from doing this for 3 hours and... You know, not being in bed, sleeping, recharging the batteries in the brain. I think that was the last egg. Yep. Well, doesn't seem like there was a shiny tonight. That's okay. Just a quick double check. No shinies tonight. Okay, no shinies tonight. So next time we will work on even more eggs. Alright, that's gonna do it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys not in a week. I'll see you guys soon. Very soon. Bye.